Okay, no, I can start, no? Okay. Now, actually, I think you may know me. I am Engineer Vimalasena Gamage, former IESL president, and I was in the irrigation department for 36 years and now retired. Now, last few years, I was conducting this ethical conduct of engineers professional for B paper. So today also, I am going to share with my this knowledge with you to help you to do the get through the your exam. So now it is very clearly stated in my what to call this PowerPoint presentation that the purpose of the Institute of Engineers Sri Lanka advice on ethical conduct is to give members advice and information about the standard of professionals practice that they should follow in order to behave ethically. Actually, when the engineering practice in early period, this normally engineers are there according to their knowledge and with that experience they done it their work and designs as they want. But later, when the institutions are formed in the various places of the in the world, even the IESL 1906, when we established the IESL, and they later it was incorporated as a government registered institution. So the, this regarding the concept of ethical behavior of the engineer is introduced, and accordingly our former presidents as well as the council members and our professionals are put together and following the code of ethics of the other engineering institutions, they have formulated this code of ethics as a guide to the any engineer to work in the field according to the general requirement of the IESL as well as public. So normally this so the ethics is considered here to be a system of code of moral rules, principles of the institution. Principles, so to control the behavior of the engineers in the society when they do the designs, construction, and other things, because all these ethics are related with the our country as well as our culture and profession and the global benefit. So I think you can read it my note also, and further you can go to the IESL code of ethics that note I think engineer Russell already prepared. The advice cover those matters which members should consider about adopting their conduct when carrying out their professional duties, rather than simply those things which is disregarded would be likely to attract, ensure any form of involvement in the bribery and corruption would be like to be breach rule 1 of the IESL rules of professional conduct as well as the criminal law in Sri Lanka and in many other countries. I think you can understand when you practice the engineering, if you are doing the wrong things, so what will be happen to you in future, right? So this, so therefore, it is the criminal law also related with this. If you can violate the IESL rules of professional conduct when you go to the courts, so they likely similarly any breaches of Sri Lanka law governing the equality and diversity would be like to breach rule 1 of the rules of professional conduct. The IESA acknowledged the institutions and advised that members should be familiar with local law as well as the legislation within the country in which they reside and operate. So then, you know this our in the country, our legal law is common law is the Roman Dutch law. So therefore, this there are so many development regarding the breach of contracts and breach of promises and like that. Therefore, normally when the engineers are practicing, they are normally handling with the contract and other works. So therefore, it is very important your conduct. In the meantime, the IESL department, a part of the from the 1906, and then after 1965, it was a government incorporated body of the institution, and then it was a requirement to the country that actually it was, as I know, this our engineers are agitating to establish Engineering Council for Sri Lanka, IESL. Fortunately, this when I was the president of the IESL, I was able to go through the Attorney General Department and get the other government institution and push our act, and then it was passed in the parliament in 2017. So now it is already in operation. So therefore, any engineer who is practicing in Sri Lanka, first instance, he should be registered in the IESL as an associate member or corporate member as a fellow like that. Then in addition to that, from the 2017, it is necessary to register in the IES Engineering Council of Sri Lanka. So there is a mandatory requirement for any discipline, civil, electrical engineering, as well as the chartered engineer, corporate engineer, chartered engineer. In the meantime, the associate members, as well as technicians and other people also must be registered. Therefore, double IESL as IESL playing a prominent role. In the meantime, now regarding the in addition to the IESL Code of Conduct ethics, ECL also introduced some code of summary, the main code of ethics for the engineers. So from the everything, what the government as well as institutions are trying to establish, that all the members has to practice in the field according to ethically. So that's the basically requirement. So duty upon members of the IES to behave ethically is in effect the duty to behave honorably in modern world, to do right things. So that is very clear, to do right things. As it most basic, it means that members should be truthful and honest in dealing with the client, colleagues, other professionals, as well as anyone else they come into contact with during the course of their duties. So members of the IESL should always be aware of their overriding the responsibility to the public goods. So actually, as engineers, we have very good what responsibility in what we are doing for the general public. A member's obligation to the client can rarely, if ever, override this. All members of the IES should not enter undertaking which compromise the responsibility. The public good includes care and respect for the humanity, cultural, historical, and archaeological heritage. In addition to that, duties specified in rules of professional conduct that protect to health and well-being of the present and future generation as a development, what was environmental development goals, and show the regard of the environmental management and natural resources. So therefore, the responsibilities, the IESL also in our code of ethics, the environment responsibility was established. Then white engineering community, include the IESL on law, have both issued statement of ethical principles, which can be summarized below very shortly. Honesty, act with honesty and avoid conduct likely to result directly or indirectly in the reception of others. Then the fairness. I think not necessarily explain, do not seek to obtain a benefit which arises directly or indirectly from the unfair treatment of other people. Fair reward, avoid acts which are like to result in any the party being deprived of the fair reward of their works. And reliability, maintain up to date skills and provide service only within your area of the competence. That's the most important, because as a civil engineer, we can practice electrical engineer. Even the electrical engineer when during the university you are studied, but you can't practice. Then the integrity, have regard for the member interest of the public, particularly people who will make use of or obtain an interest in the project in the future. So objectively, identify any potential conflicts of interest and disclose the conflict to any person who would be adversely affected by it. Accountability, provide information and warning of matters within your knowledge which are of potential detriment to others who may be adversely affected by them. Warning must be given to sufficient time to allow the taking the of effective action to avoid the detriment. Impartiality, take decisions without prejudice or bias. Transparency, identify the potential conflict of interest and disclose any adversely affected by it. Consistency, behave in an ethical manner regardless of the circumstance. So these are the things. Then statement ethical principles. So now we are going to discuss this. The Engineering Council and the Institute of Engineers have created the statement of ethical principles of all engineering professionals. So it is a mandatory. IESL has introduced the 9 code of ethics as well as the ECL 5. Engineers professional work to enhance the well-being of the society. Doing so, they are required to maintain and promote high ethical standard and challenge unethical behavior. There are 4 fundamental principles for ethical behavior and decision making. These are set out below, together with the examples of how each should be applied. So these things are actually for all the professional institutions, not only Sri Lanka, that actually we also copied down the most of things from the UK, the United Kingdom, as well as America. They are the basically they started the code of ethics in their country when they developed that country. I think if you interested, you can read the history of that, how to develop the code of ethics, so that you can understand how these Americans are behave like that. So because actually at that time, I felt this that when I read their history, actually certain people, they actually not university undergraduate, graduates, so technicians, but they are by practicing actually they started their engineering. So most of them are the reinforcement everything, and they were started by their as a practice. So engineering professionals should read this statement in conjunction with their relevant code of conduct of license or practice. The statement by itself not prescriptive. It is neither regulations nor a standard. Honesty and integrity, one is the basic thing, honesty and integrity. Even the family members, even the in the office, we have to maintain this thing for your sustainable development. The respect for life, law and environmental public good, right? Respect of life, law and environment and public good. So you have this is the this what you call your behavior should ensure that accuracy and right. Gender leadership and communication. So and communication, those things are the this thing. So when we discuss about honesty and integrity, engineering professionals have a duty to uphold the highest standard of professional conduct, including openness, openness, fairness, honesty, and integrity. They should act in the reliable and trustworthy manner. So විශ්වාසවන්ත ලෙසම වගේම වකීමක් සහිතව කටයුතු කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා කියන්නේ. To be alert to the ways in which their work and behavior might affect others and respect the privacy, right, and reputation of other parties and individuals. So alert to ways that, so when your behavior, sometimes it might be affected the other parties and the respect to their privacy, their rights, and reputation, and other parties individual and respect confidentially. So that is the most essential. And විශ්වාසනීත්වය සහ රහස්‍යභාවය, declare conflict of interest. So conflict of interest also normally in our this thing there, our day-to-day work, it is there. They avoid the acceptance and they prevent report corrupt practice and professional misconduct. This is the most important, corrupt practice of professional misconduct. Reject bribery and improper influence. So this is the recent past, I think not necessary to describe. Everybody is understand the how the engineering profession get the blame from the politicians as well as from the general public when we are doing the wrong things. So respect for life, law and good law, the environment and public good. Engineering professionals have a duty to obey all the applicable engineering professionals have a duty to obey all application laws and regulations and give due weight of to fact. Publish and standard and guidance and the wide public interest. They should hold paramount health, safety and others and do attention to the hazard. So this is the most important, whole paramount health and safety of the others, the general public, and to attention to hazard. So ensure their work is lawful and justified. Lawful and justified. I think not necessary to elaborate this. Then they recognize the importance of physical and cyber security and data protection. So those are the other things. Then they respect and protect personal information and intellectually property, protect and where possible improve the quality and built and natural environment, maximize the public good and minimize both actual and potential adverse effects for their own and succeeding generation, take due account for the limited availability and natural resources, uphold the reputation of standing of profession. Engineering professionals have duty to obey all the applicable laws and regulations and give due weight to the fact. Publish standard and guidance and wider public interest. They should be all paramount health, safety, and others of attention as I discussed. Ensure their work is lawful and justified. Recognize the importance of physical and cyber security of data. I already mentioned that. So regulations then regarding the regulations actually when the present local law that our government law that you can't start the building construction of house so marketplace or whatever it is, even in your village, even in the township or anywhere, there are so much of UDA guidelines all establishment, you have to follow that. So at least you have to get the approval from the Pradesh Sabha. Established everywhere, the Pradesh Sabha, to put up the building or your own house, you have to get the Pradesh approval, mainly because of the ensure the quality and public health as safety. So sometimes if you are doing the wrong constructions, it may be affected to the general public and the safety of the other people. So that is the reason. The engineering professionals have a duty to acquire and use wisely the understanding, knowledge, and skill needed to perform their role. They should always act with care, right? Perform service only in the areas which they are currently competent and under competent supervision. So actually, civil engineer cannot practice as a mechanical engineer. The mechanical engineer cannot practice as a civil engineer. So your discipline is the most important. Keep their knowledge and skill up to date. Uh, that is the keep their knowledge and skill up to date. That is part and parcel of the IES code of ethics, CPD, continuous professional development. Assist the development of engineering knowledge and skills in others. So other thing is we have to not only you have to develop by your skills and your capacity with the education and as a training. So you have to develop the subordinates also. That is the mandated requirement. Present and review theory, evidence, and interpretation honestly, accurately, objectively, and without bias while respecting reasonable alternatively. Identify, evaluate, quantify, mitigate, and manage risks. Not knowing, mislead, or allow others to mislead. So that is the most important, not to mislead anybody. Then the leadership and communication. Engineering professionals have a duty to abide by and promote high standard of leadership and communication. They should be, I think, we are most of the we are not good leaders as engineers, but some people are good leaders. So in the past previous in our history, you can, when you read the uh, history of the great people like engineer Vimala Surendra, then the EO Perra, Professor Mahalingam, like that, various our teachers as well as the practical engineers, Guna Kulasinghe, Rampala. So they are actually they are mostly they are very good leaders and give the leadership. So you know this Vimala Surendra, how he is contribute to develop the hydropower. So actually, when he was the district engineer in the Norelia, actually you harness the waterfalls as well. With that, he what you call establish the power station and illuminate the Nurili township itself. And then he was understanding the potential of the development of hydropower. So therefore, he was using trying to develop that. Actually, he's the originally he's a civil engineer. So pass out from the Colombo what you call technical college, and then he proceeded to the England and joined the Faraday School of Faraday, and he studied the 2 year electrical course for within 1 year and completed with the qualification civil as well as the electrical. In the meantime, mechanical also. So once he come and trying to work in the workplaces to develop the country with the hydropower. So then this gold people, they know here that he is actually first established the water supply scheme for the gold and like that. Then after that, this when he tried to develop the hydropower, he has a lot of problems. So therefore, because barriers, so he couldn't complete he couldn't do anything. So I finally what happened was he was actually went to the state council, like a parliament, as a Ratnapura, one of the Ratnapura MP. And then he fight and he tried to implement his what to call this ideas regarding hydropower. Like that, he is a very good leader. The be aware of the issues of engineering and technology raise society and listen to the aspiration and concern of others, promote equality, diversity, and inclusion, promote public awareness and understanding of the impact of and benefit of the engineering achievement. Be objectively and truthfully in any statement made in the professionally and challenge statement of policies that cause them professional concern. So I think you can read everything. So then which we call the engineering. The engineering is defined as the creative application of scientific principles to design and or develop the structures, machines, everything, and apparatus, process, and work to utilize them singly or in combination, or the construct or operate the same with full recognize of their design, or to for us their behavior under specific operation condition, all the as expecting the intended function, economics, and others. Engineering, therefore, is about transforming science into useful product of the human comfort. Engineering is sometimes something that engineers do, and what they do has profound effect in others. Ethics is the most responsibility of an engineer, the judge of the decisions to from the context of the general well-being of the society. So that is the most important. It is the study of moral issues that confront engineers and engineering organizations when some crucial decisions are taken. So actually, uh, the government department as well as the government corporation, sometimes they are criticized by general public if we are going against the general rules and according to our conduct. So therefore, That is the engineering ethics, right? So then the engineering ethics is like that. So then when you are professional ethics, right? So when you are doing the practicing engineering, you are engineering profession. So the professional ethics are the next import. Professional ethics profession is the commitment to this designated and organized occupation by virtue of being an authority over the body of knowledge which requires skills and acquired through specialized training. So that this, those who are coming become the professional engineer has to, in addition to the your degree in the university, you have to follow the IESL different process. That means you have worked with the under professional engineer as a 2 years, and then as an engineer after completing that your training under the professional engineer, you have to work as a manager in the industry, as well as you have to go to the foreign office and take the necessary at, at least 12 months training in the designs. So those things are you have to professionally you have to acquire. After that, I think you will be eligible to sit for the professional review and other exams. So then, with completing your B paper and then the Viva, completing your designs, and then facing the Viva interview by two eminent engineers, as well as then writing to show your knowledge and skill in the paper, you will become the chartered engineer. So there are at least 4 years you must continuously must be get the training to become professional. So therefore, professional ethics are most important. So the commitment, the occupation becomes a profession. So when you are engaging in the city council or irrigation department or some other corporation or electricity board, when you come to the profession, when a group of people start in the same occupation, work together in a morally acceptable way with members setting and following certain ethics code. So then when you as a professional, you have to work with all the your people, right? Then professional is the practitioner belong to the specific profession, right? So that is the, so when you are electrical professional, then you are specific to electrical group. So when you are irrigation, civil, as a basically civil, so civil engine group, like that. Professional ethics as opposed to personal value and morality is a set of ethical standards and values practicing Indian is required to follow. So professional ethics are different from your personal values. So your behavior and other things. But actually, when as an engineer, as a civil engineer, with that you have to develop your capability. To set the standard of the professional practice, and it's only learned in the professional school, right? The practicing on professional, as I mentioned, the IESL. So ethics engineer then is the ability to as well as responsible engineer to judge his decisions from the context of the general well-being of society. It is the study moral issues that confront engineers and engineering organization when some uh, crucial decisions are taken. Any research and practice require that the task in being performed consider all the pros and cons and certain action. Professional engineers are bodies like IESL, IEE, ASME, IEI, etc. have explored comprehensive ethical code relevant to their respective profession based on the rich experience on their members. Independent and national based on ethical this thing, teaching engineering ethics is in academic institution is undertaken largely through the many institutions. The universities they are teaching this thing. So basically that professional ethics are basically scope the professional ethics are is the engineering as a social experimentation. Then engineers responsibility for safety, role of engineer, manager, consultant, etc., and right of engineers, moral reasoning and ethical this thing, theories, responsibilities to employer, global issues and concerns. Those things are actually when you are practicing your engineering profession, you will come across that. So when once you go through the first 4 years and the training, complete training and become a professional engineer, actually really you are entering into the engineering world, and as a professional engineer, then you have practiced independently. So when you become the professional engineer, it is actually you have to take your own decisions. So you must that ability you have to develop by yourself. Otherwise, no one there to teach you how to do that. So when when you are in charge of the project, or when you are in charge of the division, or you in charge of this thing, so you will have to take the most appropriate and applicable solutions for the problems, as well as to do the good job for improve the quality of the general public. They must be performed under the standard of professional behavior that require adherence to the highest principle and ethical conduct. So then you have to do the very good behavior, and your behavior as well as your qualities and your work, everything will be measured by the general public. So all professional engineers, while in discharge of the professional duty, shall follow the IESL code of ethics. So IESL code of ethics actually introduced when you are following your engineering profession as a chartered engineer, you have to always follow the IESL code of ethics. So it is something like a Bible. It is everything is there. So before take the decisions, you can read it. Apart from the Engineering Council, Sri Lanka also declares 6 important ethical clauses almost similar to the IES Code of Ethics. Even now, presently, Engineering Council is there. They are also introduced the 6 Code of Ethics, so important. So these things I read, I think. Professional ethics, so I just put it the professional ethics are principles that govern the behavior of a person and group in business environment. And like values, professional ethics provide tools on how a person should act toward other people and institutions in such an environment. And professional ethics encompass the personal and corporate standard behavior accepted by the professionals such as engineers, doctors, and lawyers. So when you see the other profession like doctors and lawyers, same type of ethics are there. So that is actually sometimes you may feel that lawyers ethics are actually strong than the IESL code of ethics, and doctors also. So then when you are familiar with the engineering ethics, ethics for engineers code of ethics, then you can read the doctors their ethics as well as lawyers. So then it is very interesting regarding these lawyers where there is a rule, there's a cabin this your rule of uh, cabin rule like that, because in the England that when the taxi drivers, so they have to serve their customers irrespective of their what all this money and values, everything. Whoever come for take your hire, you have to take. So like that, the lawyers also same thing. Lawyers also has when the client is come to get help for his legal matter. So you have to, without hesitation, you have to give the legal this thing. So exceptional cases are there. Like engineers also same. So when the engineer, somebody is approached the engineer, came to the office, when you do the private practice or something. So to get the building designs, you have to just you can't avoid that. So you have to basically, as engineer, with the investigations, you have to start. So then, what is that is now some this requirements are there. The provincial council, sorry, local government as a Pradesh Sabha, any building to construct the building, the plan should be approved by the chartered engineer. So then when you go to the Pradesh Sabha, you may find out that they have the register, chartered engineers. So with that register, one of the engineers should be sign this thing. So that means if somebody done the design and bring it to you, get your signature, you don't sign. You have to start from the very beginning and then do the investigations and the proper designs and dialogue with your customer client, what are his requirement, and with your experience you can tell that if there is any disparity, not this not suitable for the building construction. You have to explain like that. So this is the this thing. So like values professional ethics provide tools on how the person should act toward the other people, general public, and institution in such environment. All discuss professional ethics encompass the personal and corporate standard of behavior expected by the professionals such as engineers, doctors, lawyers, etc. Then professionals and those working in acknowledge professions exercise express this knowledge and skill. How to use the knowledge should be governed when providing services to the public can be considered as a issue with the terms professional ethics. It is capable of making judgment, applying their skill and reaching informed decision in situation that the general public cannot be because they have not attained in the necessary knowledge and skill. There is you normally this Hippocratic oath that medical doctors is still adhere. That is their duty at the very beginning. They are given the oath. Like that, when you pass the B paper and prescribe over the other exam, and when you become the corporate member of the institution, same oath you have to give in the IESL when the awarding ceremony. Those things are actually introduced by the IESL about more than 20 years back. Ethical conduct for engineering professionals are declared by IESL. So now I mentioned that Engineering Council of Sri Lanka, actually they also given this code of ethics, uphold and highest standard of professional conduct, including honesty, integrity, fairness, and reliability, and trustworthy. Whole paramount safety, health, and welfare of the public, and act with concern, minimize the adverse effect on the environment is application of the engineering and technical solution, perform professional services only in the areas of their competence while accepting responsible the professional advice, decisions, and activities. Avoid all conduct of practice that deceive the public or their employer and not to be influencing their professional discharge of duties by conflict of interest and not attempt to damage, criticize, and maliciously or falsely, directly or indirectly for social reputation. So actually, normally for the exam, most of the time we are asking the IESL code of ethics as well as the ethical conduct for engineer declared by the ECL also. I think the 8 codes, IESL code should be, you must be keep in mind to answer the B paper. So in the meantime, ECL code of ethics also. Both are very relevant to life. When you remind always the IESL code of ethics, for when you are doing anything, you are thinking what I should do, whether your judgment is your action will be appreciated by the general public and this thing. So therefore, these rules and this thing, I think you have to keep in your mind and as well as a practice. So most of the time during the PR review also sometimes we are asking the ethical code of ethics. So most of the young engineers are they forget after the B paper. But thing is actually really if you have the very thorough knowledge about the code of ethics, you will never get into any trouble for any legal action or any audit queries or any of these things, because it is a really IESL code of ethics introduced to the engineers to safeguard by yourself, like insurance. So when they like insurance, so if you are following the IESL code of ethics 8 as 8 code of process as well as the ECL, you are insured a professional engineer. I can say, because you are not getting into any trouble or any criticism from the general public. So then engineer ethics are ethical violation. Senior engineers and junior engineers actually in the society engineering fraternity, that actually we have to work with our seniors, our colleagues, as well as our junior engineers. So we have certain responsibility. Actually, we learn a lot of things from our seniors. So their behavior, they how they take the decisions in the public matters, and then during the construction, as well as operation and maintenance, as well as the planning, design. So we always follow the our seniors, how they are work in the engineering. So professional engineers should have the balanced knowledge of both technical matters and engineering ethics. So that is the balanced knowledge of the technical matters. So engineers who work in neglecting ethics created additional problems in society. So that is the second additional problem. So there are a lot of examples of engineering work related to tragedies happen to result of neglecting engineering ethics by engineers in their decision making process. So then Hyatt Regency Hotel workplace collapse, Union Carbide accident in Bope is the most suitable examples. Even the present practice in instead of the discuss the disaster analysis, the case by case are teaching. So now I can say some few example where this regarding our major disaster of the country. Actually, it is actually uh, happened during the negligence of our professional conduct. Uh, we at that time, I think the head of the state is trying to give the vote of the country people. So then when the selections of the intake, so at that time our director of irrigation, Engineer Ponraja, great Engineer Ponraja, actually he's not given the approval to locate the what you call this the sluice, locate the intake near to the sluice, but unfortunately it was taken by some other way. So then finally big disaster. So same way I can say that uh, in 1970, I think, Ampara is regarding the cultivation. So then, at that time, there are a shortage of water. So you normally see Ampara Galway cultivation, Jala and Maha normally cultivating, but at that year, particular year, there are no sufficient amount of water. So therefore, our engineers are advance the general public and politicians also that we can't go for a full extent cultivation, but only possible is this about 50%. So then, the political people they intervene and they said, no, we have early also we have some experience that we started 100% cultivation, and then this after that, rain came and successful like that. Lot of stories as with that, and they insist in the engineers to use the 100% cultivation. But ultimately, engineers they said that no cultivation of 50, more than 50%, but political intervention. Finally, people are cultivated here and there and 100% cultivated, ignoring the irrigation engineer authority advice. So finally, what happened is 1970 after failure of the cultivation in the Ampara district. So then that is the end of the story. So even the same thing when I was at the Ampara also, uh, normally once in 15 years that the situation come in short of water. So at that time there is terrorist activities also. No? So 100% you can't go here and there. So then we decided to cultivate only 60%. And we selected the areas where the possible places to deliver the water. So then political intervention again came, and then they were insisting us to give the 100. I said, no, only the 60%. And this area, beyond that, I am not going to give. Even I not I said not to cultivate, even where I am not going to give any single drop of water to that area. In the meter, I am not taking responsibility. So then there was a meeting in the Kacheri about the farmers, politicians, as well as the other people, about 3 hours. And then finally, this politician, he said that as they want, they are cultivating. So you can't stop like that. So I said, no, I am stopping. I am not going to give it. I am not going to open the sluice till you give the assurance that if you are not working according to our, what to call this, rules and regulation and our as we declared, the only the cultivation limited these areas. So then people were little bit angry with us and agitating, but later actually then and there myself and GAV informed at that time the president Chandrika Bandaranaike, this is situation, we are not going to give the full extent cultivation, only we are limited this area, it covered 60%. She said, okay, you carry on as you want, no problem, no interference. So if the political interference, let me know the politician's name, I will address it. So, however, then politicians were silenced. We allow the people to cultivate 60%, but they cultivated with more than that 80% with the drainage water, but successfully concluded the cultivation. So then, even this actually nobody was blamed irrigation department. We done it a good job like that. So therefore, actually, this is the things that Indian ethics that you have to do the right things and you have to always think about the society. So I know that if we give the 100% cultivation, ultimately everything is lost, and then the farmers are actually their also all income is the cultivation. So we must not destroy their culture. So that's what we were very adamant, and finally we succeed. Then when you read the IESL Code of Ethics, everything is summarized that the first one is that the people, truth, service, and public standard, then conflict of interest, then connection, advice, whistleblowing, dishonesty. So, the whistleblowing is the very important concept in the YES Code of Ethics. That means if as an engineer, if you have feeling or you felt that there is a wrong decision you are going to take, so maybe the authorities, means you have to advise the respective authority that whistleblowing, that means you are going to violate these rules and regulations. So this will be the repercussions like that. So I can give a simple example that in the country, not Sri Lanka, but other country, this regarding the, this, they have the food processing industries. So then all the wastewater, they are actually collecting to the tanks, and after treating, it was discharged to the river. So then the engineer, chartered engineer, he understand that this collecting ponds are not sufficient to uh, cater their wastewater, solid waste and wastewater during the rainy season. So they inform the relevant authority that this particular company's these tanks are not sufficient, therefore not to allow their to continue their work. So then the authority said that no, it's okay. If thing happen at that time, we will see. So actually, this in the rain season, it was overflowing, and then all the waste material polluted the river. So then actually, like environment authority, river authority is actually take the action against the person, company in the according to their law, and they punish the company. In the meantime, so they were appreciated the engineer's advice because this is a whistleblower. He already given to the town council authority, but town council authority also one of the connected mainly because of the he's not hearing the particular engineer. So like that. So in Sri Lanka also I can remember when I was in the department that there was a problem of become that soft drink company. So there was the complaints came to the environmental authority. Then an authority has given sent the team to inspect and advise to the what is happening there. So I also one of the participant. We went there. We have found that same situation that they actually they don't have the sufficient capacity of their tanks to collect the wastewater. So then during the rainy season, it was released to the Kalni River. So then downstream there is our drinking water intake. So this is a big problem. Then finally, I think from their parent company also came from the India and other countries also. Finally, rectified all the their designs and everything and correct done it correctly. Then the on the provision. So the clause number 2 is described this honesty, association, integrity, merit, and recognition. So these things I think you are familiar. Then the clause number 3, sustainability, environmental protection, cooperation, maximum minimize and reuse the waste and safe disposal, and conservation. Then code ethics, own achievement, bribery, attempt to supplant undercutting. Supplant undercutting. Yeah, our engineers also having some engineers are having this supplant undercutting because if the your junior engineer is little bit tight and trying to get the shining in the field, so he will give the lot of problems for some seniors. So it is actually we also come across during the young period. So some people they don't like the shine in the people. So this is the supplant undercutting is that. So especially to become the this become the IESL corporate member, that you have to go to the run process now. So sometimes you may not get in the to get the design experience in the design office because it is alternatively chances are coming to the go to design office. So then our department also have same thing, but during that period, our engineer Pon Raja, he was the director of irrigation at that time. He actually decentralized the design office for the region also. So the regions are well equipped with the chartered engineers and all the other facilities. If there is lacking, he supported to improve the drawing office to the regions and allow the young engineers to get the training there itself while they are working in the fields like that. Then a misrepresentation, malicious talk. Malicious talk. I don't have to use with connections and acknowledging honesty. Then the competence and honesty clause 5. So competence means as we mentioned earlier also, that you are the some discipline. So this you can't civil engineers can't practice the mechanical engineers can't civil. In the meantime, if there is a acting capacity also sometimes we can practice, but now there are enough chartered engineers for the mechanical, so mechanical also, therefore not necessary to this thing. So the honesty is the most important. I don't want to deliberate. Then the core IESL code of ethics for 6 is the loyalty. This is actually very important. Loyalty, naturality, gratuity, integrity, bribery, connection, confidentially, and integrity. This is actually when you work in the department or corporation or company, these things are very important. Therefore, you can close 6, you can keep read more, at least 2 3 times, and then get the real idea. That is very important for your lifetime. Then the precise and knowledge and honesty, truthful. That is the mainly precise and knowledge and honesty. So this is the most important. Then the clause number 8 is a CPD, lifelong learning and involvement. So this is the most important because lifelong learning, this IESL, when you go to the IESL, you can see the every day, every week they are conducting the seminar or talk or somewhere in the Colombo, even you can listen to your computer. So actually, not only for the young engineers, even the senior engineers, even as a senior engineers also, we also used to listen the lecture series conducted by the IESL continuous postal development, mainly because of the improve our knowledge. So as a senior, so if when you go to the young crowd, actually our young crowd is very experienced and be knowledgeable. Therefore, with the talking with them, we must have some sort of background. So therefore, it is a lifelong learning is the most important. In the meantime, involvement. So involvement means we have to participate. In the meantime, we have trained the young people. So always we must give the facilities and the necessary help and advice to them. Actually, if the senior engineers always uh, push the young engineers to become chartered engineer, I think this long-term, long period training is not necessary because now this for the IESL professional review exams, some engineers are coming, they are having a 20 years experience and sometimes more than 10, 12 years. So then actually when we ask what is the reason, so they are coming a lot of excuse as well as the some field problems because when the engineer is good for the construction, our superiors sometimes may be trying to keep him for the construction for a long time. So to benefit of the department, but actually we must think about the his future also. Otherwise, he will lose in the what to call the class one and everything. So therefore, in the government sector, promotions. So therefore, actually, we must always try to help and develop the young engineers their initial training to become the corporate engineer. So once you become the corporate engineer, you are very independent. At any time, you can go to the leave the your workplace and find a good place or abroad or something like that. So therefore, for your benefits, I think always you must try to come and get the charter at suitable time. So actually, for the charter, minimum requirement is the 4 years experience. So miscellaneous 6 months, and then the training under the chartered engineer 2 years, and design office experience 1 year, then responsible training for the 1 year like that. So the other categories are there. So therefore, actually, I think my advice is to all the young engineers as far as possible within 4 years period. Try to get the charter because we had that privilege during the period, as well as we enjoyed the benefit of the as a chartered engineer. Therefore, this is the most important. So CPD is the most important mainly because of you improve your knowledge. So always you try to participate. Even the regional basis also now the IESL, there is a this Kandurata chapter, then chapters are there in the province now. So then you can participate. Even the district chapters also they are under the provincial chapter. So you can go and participate, and then automatically you can improve your knowledge as well as you have the cooperation and with your young engineers, senior engineers as well as young engineers. So that is most important. So therefore, CPD course number 8 is very important. So according to that, I think you have to help the young people as well as you have to learn lifelong learning to improve your knowledge. Otherwise, you know this when the your juniors are very uh, knowledgeable, so you are also feel like little bit frustration. So, for example, I can tell you that during our young days, we were in the water management sector, irrigation sector. So we actually always we are trying to go to the field and find out the where is the water shortage. Now, present engineers they have a lot of this remote sensing facilities are there. With that, they are actually identifying the what are the areas water requirement. So remote sensing is as a GPS, GIS, like the top these techniques are there. With that techniques actually we can use their knowledge for benefit of the institution. So like that, we are always have to follow the IESL code of ethics. Clause number 8 is the most important, and clause 6 and everything. Then therefore, young graduates should practice starting from their beginning period to believe ethically and make ethical decisions in their professional practice. Engineering knowledge is not sufficient to improve the welfare of the society, but the engineering works. Therefore, engineers should incorporate those ethical concepts into their lives. Engineers should have developed their skill to identify and resolve moral problems associated with their profession. Then recent research paper revealed that out of eight ethical clauses, around 50% of senior engineers are violating clause number 1. Engineers shall hold paramount health, safety, and welfare of the public and operate uh, health and welfare and public proper utilization of the funds and other resources. So that I understand that with that there are a lot of complaint against the senior engineers, because young engineers uh, they complain that even the code of ethics, our seniors are all chartered engineers are violating. So that that is actually the findings are that in the meantime, especially this public funds and vehicles and other things. So further, about 30% engineers are not continuing their professional uh, not continue their professional development and shall actively assist and encourage engineers under their direction to advance their knowledge and experience. So so certain things I know that I can't disclose, but I understand that some engineers are left the country mainly because of their seniors are asking to do some malpractices. So therefore, they don't want to continue with that this thing. Therefore, they left the country. Then that about 13% engineers, close 6 engineers, close 6 IESL code of ethics, engineers that apply their skill and knowledge in the interest of their employer or client for whom shall act in the professional matters. So that is the few people are very loyal to their company and department. Other places, they are actually trying to do the malpractice. About 5% engineers violate clause number 2. Engineers shall always act in such a manner as to uphold and enhance their honor. Some senior engineers are responsible for most identical ethical violations. So now the situation is maybe quite different. So sometimes not insisting to contractors, subordinates to implement the safety procedure. Then the public faces inconvenience due to non-environmental protection. Then less supervision on engineers leave the site before work is completed. That is less supervision of engineers when when the concrete is moving. Then senior engineers are just come and visit and asking to the juniors to continue and leaving. So, but certain places uh, it is actually wrong, because I can remember when I was in the as a university second year training in the Mahavali Porgula Tunnel. So this what to call this the Inga companies doing the tunnel concreting. So all the most of the engineers they went for the union meeting daytime. So they asked to because they didn't stop the concreting, but other technical staff was there. We also as learners of engineering undergraduates we were there. So uh, during that period, I can remember there are some certain uh, quality control tests, some tests and others. So that is failed. So they actually we don't know the weightage, but we refused the allow the concreting. So then when the senior engineer came and he was appreciated our action because he understand we have done a good job, because actually he given good training to us. So therefore we act as his word. Then sometimes not insisting contractor subordinate implement safety procedure that is there. Then uh, some places assign the mechanical works to civil engineers with extra payment, while young MEs available in house. Some places young engineers have alternative novel proposals for burning issues, but not given time to even listen to him and test to implement this subordinate people, subordinate proposal. So actually, earlier there are our department also running short of the chartered mechanical engineers. Therefore, I can remember at that time this very senior civil engineers look after the mechanics section also. Then actually later we were as a union, union irrigation department union, we associate with the other groups, and we develop ourselves to how to convert our mechanical engineers to with the proper training into the chartered engineers. So actually now it is fully developed. So like that, these things has to be implemented by the engineers. Sometimes some people for the give the extra payment, they are not allowed the young mechanical engineers to work there. So those things are must be considered. In the meantime, as I mentioned, signing and sealing the engineering design notes and drawings without checking in all fundamental issue relating to the practice of engineering. So that's what answering that Pradesh Sabha and town council, there are a list of engineers there earlier. So then they have to get the signature of one of them. So then Grafman and other people, they draw the drawings and they copy down the reinforcement and everything. And then produce the drawings, and then our engineers also sign. So that is shown. Now we can't do that. Now actually in the town council, not that registration system. So anybody can, chartered engineer can sign the document, but he had to ensure that he is personally responsible for the design notes and everything, and production, produce construction drawings. So like that, signature and seal on set of engineer design notes and drawings in the indication that signing, sealing engineer is taking personal and professional responsibility for the content of the work. Right? It was found that unethical for engineers to seal engineering document not prepared by him. So I come across some I can say that there was an engineer that actually he employed one person with the seal uh, in the he's running the small office, so anybody can go there. Then that particular lady put in the seal and then ask him to go and meet the engineer and certain place. So he go in and get the signature. So then ultimately he was get into trouble also. So like that, we must not do that. Engineers shall hold paramount health, safety, and welfare of the public and proper utilize the funds and other resources. And engineers shall continue their professional development and shall actively assist the fit and encourage engineers under their direction to advance their knowledge, experience are two clauses and code of ethics by IESL prominently violated by senior engineers and other responsible agencies. So a lot of things are there, but I don't disclose. Then the unethical act of senior engineers may be adopted by the junior engineers. When you know this, when you as a, when he's schooling, then our parents are doing the wrong thing. So we are thinking that is correct. But like that, engineering also. Therefore, this as a senior engineers, we have to behave very well to as example to young engineers. Further research can investigate deeply about these issues during the annual induction ceremony of new corporate members. I mentioned also IESL give the oath regarding Hippocrates oath, the IESL code of ethics, and that is to practice during the career. So in the meantime, now you know this. Most of the engineers are don't know whether they are familiar with this ethics in procurement. So when you read the government procurement guidelines, there is a chapter ethics in procurement. So actually, as a young engineer in the department, when I was in the head office, I was able to participate the these discussions and regarding the formation of the procurement guidelines. So then at that time, this was included confidentiality. Parties associated with the procurement action, namely suppliers, contractors, and officials, shall ensure that they maintain strict confidentiality throughout the process. So actually, this is the most important. It is there in I can't remember chapter 4 that procurement guidelines. It is there. Then the corruption. The officials in procurement action not abuse their powers, and officials who abuse one's position in procurement action to derive the benefit of oneself or one's closely family or business associate would be deemed to be engaged in corrupt practice. Actually, I don't have to elaborate, but during the past regimes it was happened. So most of the young engineers also get into trouble mainly because the seniors are said okay like that. Conflict of interest. Officials shall declare that they shall remain without the conflict of interest throughout the process. Should such a compromise situation arise, the official declare his and her interest and disassociation himself from the process. So you know sometimes when you are in the procurement, what do you call this bid evaluation committee, uh, if your brother or some related submitting the bills, I think you have to declare that when you at the bid opening, when you see that these people are known to you, so that you declare that I am having some problem of private listing. Therefore, I am not going to go through this procurement committee like evaluation process like that. No gift or inducement to be accepted. Officials shall refrain from receiving any personal gain from any procurement action. No gift and inducement shall be accepted. Suppliers, contractors are liable to be disqualified from the bidding process if found offering any gift or inducement which may have an effect of influencing a decision of impairing of the objective officials. Actually, this procurement guidelines is actually drafted by the World Bank and ADB officials also with the local engineers. So this important process for in the procurement guidelines also. Then, as a conclusion, I can say that one of the intention of the framing IESL ethics is to give some impression of the range of and complexity or ethical issues faced by the engineers or eight ethics are interconnected. So therefore, my humble request is as a young engineer sitting for the B paper, actually he was very thorough about the code of ethics, all the eight code of ethics, and those things are interconnected. So when you, I think you can get download the engineer Hassel who prepared the very comprehensive code of ethics note. With that, everything you can understand. Then engineering is the broad discipline, and the case studies cannot encompass all the ethical issues that an engineers might face. Engineers are invited to take a more active role in the ethical life of the profession. That is the reason of professional ethics are practicing through the professional bodies such as IESL. Ethics is not a set of rules that can be learned and take granted, nor is it simple framework that can be applied to problem to make them disappear. So when you read the always the IESL code ethics and you are very familiar, then you are when you are going to take the some duties, you can remember whether you can find out whether you are doing the correct things or wrong thing. So that is very important. So this development is not only necessary, however, it is rewarding, enlightening, and confusing this thing. Then the just to when you what was this answer the your ejection. So I think most of the time, I last few years I understand, and my experience is our engineers are not code, not mentioning the close number. So only the eight clauses are there. So you can remember, and you mentioned the close number when the sometimes regarding the CPD. So you are not forget the tell the close number eight is describe the conventional professional development. So those things actually, if you put it, you are getting the little at least one more mark. And in the meantime, we can say that you are very thorough about the code of ethics. So therefore, please try to keep in mind the actually close number. So like that. So then this is the very small cases I am trying to tell you that regarding the waste management, I already mentioned also that if there is a dangerous, so there is a what to call something wrong in design, so you must not hesitate to point out your superiors as well as other people. Therefore, this is the one of the case I got it from the international case law. This is the way that particular person who whistleblowing. So finally he was dismissed from the this authority, but he went to the courts and he fight against to protect his right through the code of ethics of the institution in the America Ohio state. So then finally he got the very good compensation from the authority. In the meantime, now this this some engineers actually they are, you can just read this story. So they are actually working to get a good this thing. So then I code of ethics clause on engineers fulfillment of professional duties shall have paramount safety, health and welfare of the public, and proper utilization of the funds and other resources in the performance of the professional duties. So another this thing I can tell you. When I was at Galway region, Kampar region, uh, normally actually their power production by district board is as a byproduct when we are doing the water issues. At that time, water issues close. and we are getting ready to the yellow cultivation, Maha cultivation. So then the power station is shut down. So one night, early morning, about 1 o'clock, GA gave me a call and said that again, there is a problem in the hospital. There was no power at the power failure. So then he said that there are 2, 3 infant in the ventilator helps, and some even the to put it in operation the hospital generators no fuel. Fuel should be pumped by the Ampara town shed. Without what current they can't operate that. So therefore he asked me to allow at least 1 hour to power generate to the Guinea to give the power supply to the only the hospital as well as petrol shed that to cover the actually Ampar town area. So then normally when we are allowed the power generation for during the close season, I have to go to the approval from the head office and nothing. But however, uh, thinking about the safety of the general public, and therefore I take the decision immediately. I instructed the power housing engineer to give the generate the power and release the water to the main channel. So then early morning about 2:30 with some technical staff. I went to the check the whether there is a level crossings are there where there is a chances to spill the water. So fortunately within 1 hour we managed that this diesel pumping problem was solved, and then hospital is equipped with the fuel, and then not necessary for the power generation, so we shut down. But next morning, actually, we followed the what is the course, and then electrical engineer actually found that there is some fault in the line of the simple undo and then rectified. So at that time, actually, you have to get the correct decision. For the engineers, shall take proceedings over their responsible to the position that professional matters in each employer and client is faithful agent of the trustee. භාරකරුවන්ගේ විදිහට තමයි අපි වැඩ කරන්න ඕනේ. The engineer shall not complete sign or seal plans and so the already discussed. So then actually public health and welfare engineer stand the client of employees is such an unprofessional conduct. They shall not notify proper authorities to withdraw from their service and project. So like that. So engineer's obligation rule paramount safety, same thing, performance of duty, the proper during the most basic. Clearly, it is important that evident by the fact that it is the very first obligation stated in the IESL Code of Ethics, more because of the importance. Moreover, the promise upon professional engineering exists. The engineering registration process is found upon the proposition that in order to protect the public health and safety, the state has an interest of regarding the practice of the profession. So mm, now whistleblowing is actually very important concept of the IESO Code of Ethics in the post number one. It is fully described. I think you can read now. Time is very short. Otherwise, you when you are after the exams, even you can go to the internet and read a lot of cases of the violation of Code of Ethics. Very interesting, and you can learn a lot of things. Uh, then So these things I just put it to your reading. So like that you can get it more examples. So even quite very interesting to develop your knowledge about the code of ethics. So there are some books also available yeah, in uh, the what was it, book our bookshop. Even for the lawyers, there is a very valuable book is published by Dr. Amar Singh of the senior judge. So very nice. In the meantime, there are a lot of publication of the London IE Institute of Engineers as well as American Institute of Engineers. So you can read it and then find the real importance of the code of ethics. So I don't want to further continue, but only you will get the first question and second question in respect of the code of ethics. So if you are try to get the familiar with the IESL code of ethics and think about your own experience, some quick example, very easily you can get the 25 marks from the code of ethics questions, first one or second one, very easy. So actually I am like to say that some engineers are very nicely they are replying. So actually try to keep in mind those numbers when you write the exams, so you get the extra marks and even then you have it thorough. So this is actually not the wasting your time. So if you are familiar with the IESL code of ethics with the numbers, it is useful for the day-to-day life when you work as an engineer in the industry. Okay, thank you very much. That's all. If there is any problem, you can speak to me. I can answer. No problem.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes, if you have any problem, you can speak to me over the phone. My number is not 71 82 86 7991 82 86 7991 so if you are a problem you speak to me, I will tell you the as I to help the to get the more marks from the B paper. Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, sir. Is it possible to get your contact number again, sir, in English?
Not 71
Not 71
8286
8286
791.
791. And now, and also, is it possible to get the presentation slides tomorrow, sir?
Yes. I think I say Sanjeev, I will ask him to put it in the web. So no problem. You can download. No
Okay,
problem.
sir. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Right.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.